something really amazing happened. My father and I were out, and I saw one of the comics that I wanted that time, because they come out every month or so.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not wasting my money on this." And I'm like, "You don't understand. This is a great story. This, that, and the other thing." And I used a word. I can't remember what the word was now, but it wasn't a word that my father thought that a person at my age would know. And so he's
All
like,
right.
"What's that word mean?" And I told him, and he goes, "Where'd you learn that word?" And I pick up the comic book and I show him. I'm like, this is how it's written. This is the words they use, and this is what they describe. And he was amazed, because he just thought it was
Yeah.
junk. The same thing that you see, in the Sunday
It's like
papers.
a picture book with minimal
Yeah.
writing. Yeah.
And so uh, I was able to change his mind right there, and he actually supported me reading comic books at that time. And then
How old were you? What age was that?
you know elementary school.
Okay, so before 13?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
pretty young. And um, I remember we went and we visited our family. He's got a sister in England, and I picked up a couple comic books there. And they got destroyed because I was a kid, and it was one of them was actually the Incredible Hulk #1 in
Oh wow.
England. It was the first issue, and it was a supersized issue. It wasn't American sized. It was like the size of Life magazine,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it was back when the Hulk was gray. He wasn't green
Oh,
yet,
I remember that.
and he
Right,
looked a lot like Frankenstein, not like just an oversized person.
right,
And
right.
it destroys me that I didn't save that comic, and it got destroyed, and I lost it over time. Because today that would be worth so much money. Got older, got interested in some military comics. I liked Sergeant Rock. Uh, then a few years later, I
Who
didn't
made those
read.
comics, by the way? Not sorry to cut you off. Who made I don't know those types of comics growing up, but were they Marvel or DC or like
Um,
spin-offs or independent?
there really wasn't independence. This is back in the '70s. There weren't any
Right.
real independent comic books, and if there were, it was such a small niche that you're not going to find it in the drugstore. You're not going to find it in basically the Walmart. You'd have to go to an actual newsstand where they actually had a section for that. And then got older, started getting interested in the military a little bit. So Sergeant Rock was one, and then my favorite character, one of my favorite characters, came out in Spider-Man, the Punisher. He's
Punisher,
got
right.
he's got a great backstory. He was a Marine in Vietnam, came
Yeah.
home,
Man. His
uh,
wife
you
and
know,
daughter, right? I think it was.
killed by the mafia, and then he goes and
Mhm.
takes out the mafia. Wolverine was another favorite of mine. When you get into the X-Men
Yeah.
series, really liked him. Uh, then
The
I
trouble the
also
troubled characters. The troubled characters.
the anti-heroes.